Hello, so at this point in the course, you have made it through all of the new material that we have for Algebra 1. So we just finished with sequences, we talked about line of best fit in the previous one, and so we've now covered everything that we need to cover: exponentials, quadratics, linear, we've looked at all of it. So what we're going to do here in the next 3 weeks is we are going to look at what we think is most important to prepare you for the next grade level. So looking at Algebra 2, these are things that we definitely need for you to understand. So the first thing that we need for you to understand is something called function notation. What function notation is it just means that we have the phrase f of x. So f of x is the same as saying y. Okay, so in a graph, so if we were to look at any graph, there is always an x value and a y value of an ordered pair. So like this one here, that has an x value and it has a y value. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to say this x value is -2. On this function, what is the y value? So we are evaluating, meaning we're solving. If I give you the x value, I want you to plug it into the equation and you're going to tell me where its y value is. So let's start with number 1. So at number 1, I have the function 4. Instead of x, I'm going to replace this x with the -2, because that's what it says. Then the function says +1. So now we solve. 4 times -2 is -8. And we bring down the +1. -8 plus 1 is -7. So that is the answer for 1a. So let's try the same thing with 1b. Same function from up here, 4. Instead of x, it says the x value is 1/2. And then it says +1. So half of 4 is the number 2. 2, and bring down that +1. 2 plus 1 is 3. So my answer for number 1b is 3. So here is the answer for A, and here is the answer for B. So I want you to try that same idea with number 2. They're giving you the function. So it says take this x value, plug it in, and figure out what the y value is. So try 2a and 2b. Let's look at number 3. So number 3 is the exact same idea. The only difference is that this is using something called function notation. What that means is if there's a number inside parentheses, it's your x value. So what I'm going to do is take this equation, negative. Instead of the x, I'm replacing it with the number 4. And I'm going to put it in parentheses, squared minus 2. Again, instead of x, x is 4, and then plus 5. Okay, so now we simplify. When we simplify, if you have a calculator, you can use that calculator to help you. But we're going to do something called PEMDAS. So PEMDAS says that we need to do exponents first. So 4 to the second power is 16. And then we would multiply. -2 times 4 is -8 plus 5. So -16 minus 8 is -24. And then plus 5. -24 plus 5 is the number -19. So in this original equation, we took this number and we plugged it in everywhere we saw an x. I replaced it with a 4. And then we just solve, and I got -19. So I'm going to do the same thing, number 3, b. So the equation starts with a negative sign. I'm going to change the color so it's not overlapping. Negative. Instead of x, this x value is the number -3. Minus 2 instead of x. Oops, there's a squared here. So this x has a squared. Minus 2 times -3 plus 5. So I just wrote this exact equation, but instead of x, I replaced the x's with these -3's. Okay, now we simplify. -3 to the second power is the number +9. An exponent just means -3 times -3, which is 9. There's still a negative in front, so that's like saying -9. -2 times -3 is +6, and then there's a plus 5. -9 plus 6 is -3. -3 plus 5 is 2. Okay? So try the same exact thing with number 4. So you take your function, everywhere you see an x, replace it with the x value that they're giving you in the problem. Okay, this is called evaluating. It's a very important task to be able to take a number, plug it into the equation. They're giving you the x value. You plug it in the equation, and the equation tells you what the y value is. Okay, so go ahead, try 4a and 4b. Okay, when you're ready, here's the last one. There's only 6 questions for this video note, so it's nice and easy. So let's look at number 5. So in number 5, I take my function 3. Instead of this x, I replace it with the x value that it's giving me, which is the number 0. Oops. And then we have minus 1. So what we talked about when we did the exponents chapter back when we were in school, like in January, is that what you need to know is that anything raised to the 0 power is always going to be 1. So 3 to the 0 is 1, 10 to the 0 is 1, 12 to the 0. Anything raised to the 0 power is always 1. And then I bring down this minus 1. 1 minus 1 is 0. So in this function, when x is 0, y is 0. Okay, let's try another one. So this is 3. From the equation here, instead of x, I'm replacing it with the x value, and it's saying that that x value is 3. And then it says minus 1. So 3 to the 3rd, you're like, I don't know how to do that. What that's saying is you take the number 3 and you multiply it 3 times. 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 3 is 27. Okay, so that's 27 minus 1. What's 27 minus 1? 26. So in this graph, in this function, when the x value is 3, the y value of the ordered pair is 26. So 3, 26 would be on this graph. Okay, so let's try number 6. Last one there, plug in both of those x's, plug that in, solve, and then plug this one in and solve. And that is it for video notes 1. So we are now moving into video notes 2, and then you are done for this week's work. We are so close to the end of the school year, so keep working, keep pushing through. We only have 2 weeks left after this, so we are so close to the end. All right, so head on over to video notes 2 whenever you finish number 6. Thank you.